Good day, good day, good day. I'd like to talk. I'd like to talk a little bit about purpose. Everybody has a purpose. A purpose is your blueprint. Your blueprint comes from your seed. You was a seed. Your seed has the blueprint of who you are, not just physically. When we ascend spiritually, there is a purpose. And everybody's perfect purpose is great and powerful. There are a lot of distractions that keep us from achieving those purposes even even knowing what those purposes are. My purpose relates to love. Like I truly love people. I could love you and not like you by just natural innately. I love you. That is a that's a God love. I love you. That's the best way I can describe it. Without conditions. I love you. And I may not like you. And I still love you. Wanting only the best for you. Because your journey and your purpose, how you get there, may not be in line with what my purpose is. Still, it has purpose, especially once you achieve it. Sometimes the distractions are in a way or in the way to get you to awaken others. Perfect example is Malcolm X. That man was purposeful, and he was there to leave a stamp of a message that will resonate throughout all generations. Like even to this day, most of the things that he said and where he came from, where his heart was at, it was all about getting us to a point where we're elevating. Excuse me. He was actually he was actually ascending the bonds of a level of consciousness through what he was speaking. And because he was so prolific in how he spoke and how he retained information, he was able to reach a massive amount of people. And that's the reason why he was taken out at the time that he was, because he saw it from another perspective, and he would have been able to reach a whole lot more people. And I am feeling that. So if you want to send your bond, the bond that a bond in your consciousness, if you want to ascend beyond the bond that you're at, like I said, truth is very important. Information is very important. Truth about your history, whether you're black or white, is very important. I mean, the truth about your history is very important. And reconnecting with your ancestors, because if it wasn't for your father and your mother's, you would not be here. So that to me is the greatest praise that we can give, is to those that came before us. And whether you're black or white, I do believe that, and I'm just saying black and white, for instance, no matter what nationality you are, your ancestors wants to wanted or want constant, because energy is, cannot be destroyed. They want to provide a connection of a legacy that lasts even beyond them. And especially for blacks, it's not just a legacy of, it's not monetary, because it's not a money thing. It's more of a spiritual connection and an elevation of our minds, our creative minds. Being creative is very important to extending your bonds of your whatever level of consciousness you're at. Creativity will get you to another level. And eliminating the fears that bond you to where you're at, if you're ascending, if you wish to ascend, eliminating the fear that stops you from getting there, whatever that fear is. Maybe it's I'm not good enough, or I can't, or but what's going to happen if, and what if, the what ifs. That's a bond that is keeping you bound instead of in motion. Healthy bonds are beautiful, between mother and son, and mother and daughter, and father. Those bonds can be healthy. They can be very healthy, especially when the parent wants the best for their child, and wants the best for their child in a loving way, not in a controlling way. That's a healthy bond. And there are bonds that are not healthy. The bonds of parents who, okay, get some more if you want some more. The bonds of parents that their love has conditions, where they have expectations, and that expectations limits the child from their blueprint. You know, it's not, it's like I want you to be happy, but if you don't, that's a condition. The love is not supposed to have conditions to it. I mean, respect. Everybody wants to be respected, but I'm pretty sure that the parent does not want to be controlled by their child. But yet, when the parent controls their child in a way where you're not, especially when your child becomes an adult, and there are still these expectations of meeting their standard, you know, instead of allowing them to live and experience. We have a lot of unhealthy bonds in the States, in the US. We have a lot of unhealthy bonds. I've been very fortunate. I've been very fortunate, raised by parents that didn't have a lot of conditions to their love. The only thing that I can remember where there was an expectation, like we had to graduate high school. Like we didn't have to go to church, and it was an unwritten um, position that we were in. And I think it was a healthy balance, though, I really do. Anywho, you could only give your child what you know. You cannot give them more than what you know. And that's why I say, if you did not receive what it is you felt you needed as a child by your parents, don't, as an adult, continue to blame your parents, because they could not have given you that which they never had. So, yes, we all have a purpose. And in order to have the purpose, we have to assess our truth. Do we have healthy or unhealthy bonds in our life that bind us to conditions, or is it more freeing? Does it allow us the freedom to think outside the box? Those are the bonds that I wish all of us to step out of. The boxes that are created by family, by friends, by society. Once we can step outside that box and live without those conditions, woo, and it's a process. It's a peeling away of the levels, the layers of the onion. It's a process, and it's like you got to release it in a healthy way. You can't be holding on to stuff like guilt and regret and shame, and you can't be holding on to that and expect to live outside the box, to ascend your consciousness if you're holding on to negative energies. So the first way I suggest that people will release these bonds that tie them in an unhealthy fashion is the I forgive. Just take a blank piece of paper and uh, get a pen or a pencil. I suggest a pen, and then write down I forgive. It could be I forgive myself. It could be I forgive my mother. It could be I forgive my family. It could be I forgive society. You just, whatever comes to mind, you just write until your heart's content. And once you get to the end of that, woo, burn it. Free yourself. Love, love, love. Truth, truth, truth. Peace, peace, peace.